Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where and when you're watching this video. My name is Denise Belil, and it's actually a live right now, but that'll be recorded for later. The reason I'm here today is It's All Good. Look who's here for a chat show. And my guest today is Lorrel Elian. So I'll tell you a little bit about L'Oreal a little bit later. But why is it called It's All Good Show? Well, one day I was sitting on my couch and thinking about creating this show. I was like, how am I going to call this? As a serenity expert, I wanted to bring something that was positive and that was fulfilling and supportive. And I was drinking my tea. And I was like, mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's all good. Let's call it It's All Good Show because this is something I use all the time. This is a saying like in my life, I've over 40 years plus of meditation techniques and learning all the tools of the trades, if we could call it this way, and becoming more serene and looking for the gift into the opportunities that comes my way, into not to judge situation when they come to me, and not worrying about the past and having anxiety for the future. Every time something happened, good or bad, I always say it's all good. And this way, what it allows me to do is to be more present to what is now. So this is why I have guests every week with people that I feel are the type of people that can bring you a little bit of nuggets, knowledge, information that can help you and uplift you, for you also to say it's all good. A lot of my guests are light worker, positive thinkers. They love to work with people to enrich their life and to make them better human beings. So my guest today, as I said, is Lorrel Elian. She's a life mastery mentor. And our topic today is how to release trauma, to reshape your body, your life, and reverse aging in the process. I vow when I was a young adult that I would never grow old. So anytime anybody talks about reversing aging to become healthier, it's always something that I open my ears to, because I want to learn more about how to better my life and to have a better outcome. So Lorrel has been an entrepreneur for the last 30 years, and she's a life mastery mentor. Sorry about that. So she's been internationally accredited as a teacher for psychosomatic therapy. I've known that word for years, and right now I just choked on it. Psychosomatic therapy. And that's funny because when I met with her, we were talking about her instructor, and we both know that person. I did some course with the same teacher. So that's one more reason she's here today, because we have so many things in common. She's the creator of a Somatic Face Therapy. It's a gently healing trauma while reversing premature aging. Again, reversing premature aging. So she's a face reader, a soul reader. She's a life student of Feng Shui. She's also studied color therapy, crystal therapy, and human design, and so much more. She lives in the heart of Canada with her husband Larry of 26 years and her fur baby Coco Asia. So fur baby lovers always on my side. And her side passion is teaching Hatha Yoga and Yamuna body rolling. So I'll ask her about that later, because I don't know what that is, body rolling. And paddle boarding, I haven't tried that either. So one day I'll have to brave the cold water of Vancouver and go stand in the freezing water, even in the summer, and try paddle boarding. Or maybe I'll wait for me to go to somewhere warm to try it out. And also, one of the things why I love her, and she's an organic farmer, growing food and flour. So without any further ado, let's open the door to Lorrel. Here she is, Lorrel. It's so good to have you here today.
Oh, thank you so much, Denise. So happy to be here. I love you and I love our conversations.
Yes, it's funny when you meet someone sometime and you realize you have so much more in common than you would have expected initially. And that's why I love meeting people like you. You know, like right away, you feel like it's a sister connection. We have so many little branches, you know, that are interconnected and makes us that it's almost like we speak the same language in some ways. So I'm so glad you're here today.
Yeah, well, we do, and yeah, we have such a strong connection because there's so many things that are in alignment for each
Yeah.
of us. The fur babies, for sure.
Yes, yes. But many people don't know what is therapy.
Okay,
So
yes,
why don't you start there just to explain what that is? And in French, we have an expression that says, what does that eat in winter? Qu'est-ce que ça mange en hiver? So it's a weird expression, but meaning, what the hell is that? So if you could explain a little bit
love it. I
what
love
that is.
it. Yes. So, psychosomatic therapy, there's very few of us in the world, actually. It's different than psychotherapy.
Mhm.
Psychosomatics is the blending of the body mind connection. It
Mm.
means that when the body's doing it, the mind is aware of it, and the connection is, oh, that's what I'm doing. It's about recognizing the patterns inside of that, and also understanding that the patterns are come from our conditioning, and
Mm.
it's about our awareness, and in our awareness we can shift those patterns to create a new experience or work on that transformation. Mhm.
Hmm.
Very
And
healing.
yeah,
Mhm.
and one of your teacher and the one I did courses with, she used to say all the time, the issue is in the tissue.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Yes, because at a cellular level, all of your emotions are stored in the body. It's in your DNA. It absolutely is true. And I previously would have thought, I really didn't understand what that meant, but everything that happens in your life can be explained through your body. Basically, it's taught
Mm.
me how to be a body reader, a face reader. And my teacher also, so that Carol, and the creator of the work is Herman Mueller, who's
Mm.
since passed, but he would say, the proof's in the pudding, and he'd pinch us. So everything can be explained: the color of the hair, the shape, the form, how you've fleshed out is one of the words
Mm.
that we say.
Because I remember experiences that Carol had shared, saying that, for example, like she would be very I don't like the word aggressive because that's not aggressive, but hands-on
Yeah.
with people whenever she would do a physical treatment. And like if you have like an issue with the belly, like she would really work the digestive system and work the belly to move things up, and all of a sudden the person would like whoop, things will disappear.
Oh,
So
well, I'll tell you, my very first experience with that was actually I saw a man grow a bum. And I'm not kidding on that. So here, I'll lay out the
yeah,
scenario.
yeah.
He was in his 40s, late 40s, always a yogi type, meditator type, very slight body. So we would say he needs some potatoes. He's not really grounded. He didn't have a lot of form. Very fight or flight response is one of the ways we look at people. So he was very much flight. It's
Yeah,
about out of the body. My whole purpose in life is to put people in their bodies,
yeah.
that grounding. So Carol was my first teacher with this, and so we're at this stage of the practitioner training. And when she released the perineum, which is not that's very advanced body work,
Hmm.
and the the one butt cheek just kind of popped up, and that so looking at that psychosomatically, it's about the feeling of being supported, being grounded. And, everything that's going on up here can be traced to what's going on down there. Every part of your body is connected. I
Mm.
can read your feet, your hands, your ears, your face, your body without knowing anything about you. And I'll possibly tell you more about you than those living with you or close to you understand about you. It's not about the judgment, it's about the actually the non-judgment. That we grow up feeling judged, and that's how we become self-critical and we judge others, because it's all about comparing. I've got this, what's wrong with me? I don't have that. I should, that
Yeah,
should word
yeah.
and all of that. So
But I'm
anyways,
curious, did that guy grew two butt
yes,
cheeks?
yes. And
Good, good.
because he was making the body mind connection. So for the first time, he felt that in his
Uh,
body. He got it. So with continued
it
work,
just released. Yeah, it
it,
just.
it does, because it's in the fascial, the myofascial, the pockets in the body. So if you're not processing information, chances are you've got digestion. So what Carol would have been doing is stimulation, the motility of the pouches underneath. It's
Mhm.
it truly is important for everyone to move their body because the lack of that will end up being disconnection, blockages, stagnant energy in the body, stagnation,
Mm.
dis-ease, dysfunction,
Yeah,
disconnection.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's fabulous. Yes,
Mm.
it's. I remember getting a psychosomatic treatment, which is hands-on, and believe it or not, people that are listening, I laid on the table and I had a lady doing that was not Carol, it was one of her students doing a treatment on me. And she was not being very physical or doing a lot, but she was doing what she needed to do. Just laying there, I sweated. I sweat like if I was in a sauna. We were just in a regular room, like there was not overheated or anything. And I released so much water from my whole body. The sheet was poor. We could have wringed the sheet. It was so wet.
Yeah. So that aspect of you, whichever it was that the practitioner was working on, often when we have parts of ourselves that we lock away, that's that the trauma in our bodies, and we can actually forget or not even know that we have that there. But when the practitioner is conscious of that or brings the consciousness to it, that's the release that starts happening, the emotional release.
Yeah,
And
yeah. That was quite powerful actually. Like
very,
I
very
I
powerful.
felt I felt well, literally very light afterwards, like mentally and physically. Like I
Yes,
was just like it had let go of a lot of stuff, and
it
which is
is
quite
true.
powerful. So I recommend people to look for, you know,
Yeah.
psychosomatic therapy because it does a lot of big difference. And I want to mention also for those that are listening, thank you. And don't be shy to put comment. If you have question, you can ask your question. And you can like this video. If you watch this on YouTube later, please, subscribe to my channel, ring the little bell so you're notified whenever we're on. And I'd love to be able to be in contact with you as we go along. So thank you so much. And tell me a little bit about face reading. So
Yeah.
what is face reading?
So actually, too, just to continue on from what you were saying about the release in the
Yeah.
face reading is part of that. And so you're when you're having the treatment, or actually, if you learn just listen to the corrections, do the corrections, which is about acknowledging different parts of your aspect, or coming into alignment, which is one of the things that um, the therapies that we teach in psychosomatics. Is it will shift that consciousness of the stagnant energy, but it stimulates the tissues, the myofascial tissue, and so it starts reforming. And so that'll lead into the talk in a bit about the reverse premature aging, because
Mhm.
that's what happened for me. So learning to read a face was about understanding how people come to be in the shape they're in from a psychosomatic perspective. So if you feel like a certain way, I'll just give you an example. When you're thinking, and for everyone watching, just take a second and think about something that is going on in your life right now that makes you
Mhm.
really unhappy, and
Mm.
how that, just scan your body.
Mm.
Where do you feel that in your body?
Yeah.
Well, on the face, when I read a face, I'm also understanding what's going on in the
Mm.
body, because the through the meridians and the energy centers, everything here is connected to everything that's going on
Of
in
course.
the body. The chakras, energy centers are connected to organs in the body that are connected to issues in your life. So I'll see that in the face. So that's what I started understanding. And as I was learning that, I started experiencing transformation. So I've traveled the world literally reading faces. And sometimes we do 3-day events, so just reading faces all day long, 16
Yeah.
hours a day.
Yeah.
It's amazing. People would say, "Oh my gosh, you must be so tired." Yeah. And I'd be like, well, no, actually, because the more I read a face, I'm doing therapy on me, because I'm reminding myself of what that means. I'm not attaching to it. I've become the observer in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And that's where, for people who are experiencing dis-ease, dysfunction, trauma in their life, they've attached to that. So the emotional release is about understanding how to let go of that.
Mm.
So I got off track there, Denise. Sorry.
Yeah,
We're
no problem. We're starting to talk about face reading. So,
Please reading.
so if
So
you promise to be gentle, would you like to read my
oh,
face?
okay. So
Be gentle. We're recorded
here's
here.
do you see how that feels? Oh, I know. That's that part of us where we feel judged. And to the audience again, that part of you where do you feel sad? Well, you'll hold it in your face.
Mhm.
And then so take that next moment and think about something that's really happy about your life, or maybe a memory from the past that really made you happy. That emotion, happy or sad, is what gets trapped, literally trapped in your body. It's a frequency of vibration. So I don't go around reading everybody's faces. I always say it's the red flags that I look for. That is kind of like, oh, what's going on there? And then I take a deeper look, or if I've been
Mm.
invited.
Yeah.
And so when I read faces today for clients, it's about, are they attracting or repelling their
Mm.
ideal clients for the most part? Because here's what happens to us when we stand in the mirror and getting ready for our day. We do what I call the lipstick or the shaving face, and you're kind of, oh yeah, look really good, and this, and then yeah, right, and then as soon as you walk away, you have what I call the driving to work phase. That's when all of the stuff from, did I do this? Am I ready
Mhm.
for this?
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah. All those things come in. That's your processing. And that's the face that people see, that
Yeah.
face that
Yeah. Yeah.
you're not conscious of. The
Yeah.
face, mom said, don't make that face, you'll stay that way. It is
It's
what
true.
happens. Yes, it's how you've fleshed out.
Yeah.
So okay, so if you walked around with a mirror, you'd be constantly doing what I call the corrections.
Mhm.
Otherwise, okay,
And now
so
I'm on camera, so I can do the correction,
yeah. So everything is
Mhm.
energy.
Mhm.
You either are in the frequency or attracting a frequency. You're always attracting a certain frequency, and it's the kind of this ebb and the flow of your day, which is your emotions. So
Yeah.
um, the frequency that Denise is in right now is of attracting her tribe, and the people that she attracts them because she's got this broad and open way of looking at the world. So when I look at the overall face shape, I see someone who has a broad and open mind. She has this, and people will say, oh, Denise is open to these
Mhm.
conversations, right? And the overall face shape shows me someone who has what I call a humanitarian aspect. You can look at things and see kind of big picture, kind of what's going on, and you get people, and
Mhm.
and also this area through the face is where we carry our emotional baggage. This is the part that shows up a lot of the premature aging, and it's because of the organs that it's connected to, and also because of the eyes. It's kind of like we see all of this stuff out there, and then we also feel it, or we've been numbed down to it. So it'll depend, on how you react, what your circumstances are, how you get triggered, what triggers you. That'll explain a lot about why you look the way that you do.
Mhm.
So you have this humanitarian aspect of you. You also have a lot of, not to go too deep, but Denise has a lot of self-judgment. That's part of your driver. It's part of your driver, but nobody's harder on you than you are on you.
Mhm.
And it'll
Always the
come
case for a lot of people, right?
yeah. And so it's how we compare ourselves to the
Mhm.
outside world. People say, the ego, oh, the ego is that bad? Well, no, the ego, it just is the ego. It's about how we compare ourselves to the guy next door.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
how are we doing? It's our gauge for life. So, but some people will feel beaten up by it. Others will take up the challenge and go, oh, okay, well, I can do this, I can do that. I'll try harder, I'll do more, or I'll shift in this. So how we beat ourselves up, here's what I learned. And this was really deep work in that you know, my husband was working away overseas when I started doing this work. He'd be gone for months at a time. And there was a point when he came home one time. He saw that I was really getting into it and I was doing well in life. I'd come through a lot of health issues and depression issues. And then the one time that he came home, and then this is what happens. Because we care for others, those in our lives, and we want to share this, that my teacher would say, spiritual cookies with them. And I started doing the corrections on him, and he started, it's like, whoa. And so, I said to him after a while, I said, I'm not saying that this is something that you need to do, but it's something that you could do for yourself. And so he became actually a practitioner. I say because I'm a lot to live with. So he had to take therapy. He became a therapist. So, and I share this because it's important to have those around you that get
Mhm.
you, that understand you. So this work that I do, it's how I live. So it's about learning to not judge self. And it's part of our human condition. So when we hear these things about ourselves, the stuff that's going on around us is not about us. So when I tell Denise that you have, the self judgment, and it's that's like having trauma. Trauma is a teacher. It's We have these situations that are beyond our control come into our life. They are what they are, but learn from them and move
Mhm.
on from them. The
Yeah.
more difficult, oppressive, messy it seems to be, I've learned that the more important it is that you learn from this life gift that's been put in front of you. It's like the last 2 years. There have been tremendous gifts that have come from these last 2 years. So it's like taking that opportunity and look forward to how you can benefit from it.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
better version you are when you learn from that, it it teaches others how to treat you. Because right now, the more you judge yourself, the more you'll feel judged by others. And
Mhm.
with my husband becoming a practitioner, what changed for us was that he said one day, and it was the last day of his training, and he was saying, "You make me feel like," we're having the
Oh,
music.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's in that moment, he says, "I get it. You can't
Uh-huh.
you can't make me feel anything.
No.
It's me. It's what I'm projecting. And that's the truth of it. That was such a huge lesson for us in our lives, that you can't blame others. No one can make you happy, no one can make you sad. It's nobody can suck your energy.
It's
It's
always
what
a choice.
That's right. It's what you allow others
Yeah.
to have control over you. So
Yeah, taking
yeah.
responsibilities for one's life, anyone, like any one of us that decide to take responsibility for our life, which
Mhm.
mean you're responsible for anything that happened to you, even though sometimes you might feel that it's out of your control, but it's always a choice. If you're late for an appointment, oh, it's not my fault. There was lots of traffic. Well, it's your fault because you didn't plan ahead and you didn't leave early,
Yeah.
and you didn't plan to arrive 15 minutes early, and that's why you're 15 minutes late. And like there, we can go through all the example, and you and I'm sure we can do the same thing with them, is finding all the reason why they could have been more responsible and take responsibility and ownership over,
Yeah.
because once you do that, then you become whole. When you give your responsibility to somebody else, you lose yourself,
Mhm.
right? You give away your power. It
Yeah.
makes a huge difference in our life when we decide to own our power, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I'll just kind of wrap up. When a face reading, actually, I always say it's coming into sacred space. So I'm always happy to demonstrate for people, but I never go deep unless it's in privacy and
Hmm.
for confidential. But your nose shows me that you've learned a really good work ethic, but also it's kind of like Whoopi likes to have fun. Yeah, a little bit of that. So I come from the beauty industry. What I knew about ears and noses before I came into psychosomatics was that the ears and the nose are the two parts of our anatomy that continue to grow after we reach maturity. I was always intrigued by the different nose and ears shapes. I had many international clients. And so with psychosomatics, I learned about myself. So I was always people would tease me about my short little nose and my little ears to grow with it, that go with it. And as I worked through my own traumas, health and emotional, as I became a therapist of psychosomatics, it my ears and my nose grew. For about a year and a half, I would feel on one side of my face, it's like, is something on my face? And I love to show off my ears. I have really large ears. Well, larger than they used to be, anyways. But here's the thing. I don't know if you're feeling bold, Denise, but we were talking about the face splits because the
Yeah, yeah.
face shows the masculine and the feminine. So my ears, you'll see, we are asymmetric. We're not perfect, but
My ears are different too. Yeah,
yeah,
let's show
exactly.
our ears.
Yeah, very good. So my right ear is smaller than my left ear. And let's see yours. Okay. Okay. You got okay.
Like
So
this one,
mhm,
the fold is open,
yeah.
and
So
this one, the fold is closed. I can't open it.
yeah, that's all
See?
right.
And
So you actually have fairly long ears. Yeah. And it
oh,
shows
my arm.
your awareness, maybe a little bit of claral audio, that you hear a lot of stuff.
I hear a lot of
Someone,
things.
yeah, yeah. I should have Dumbo ears for all that I hear. So mine on my left side. So this is my feminine side. This is my creative, my nurturing, my mother's side.
Mhm.
And that's the side of me where I do a lot of work, because I can overextend, I smother. And I'm so glad I learned that before my kids left homes, because so many people do this, and it comes from the right place. But step back, allow your children to make their own
Mhm.
mistakes.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
mothering with your mothering will only push them farther away.
Yeah.
And I'll just say one more thing about that. It shows up in here often, about that part of you, but also the more you have here, men and women, the larger you are in your chest and your breast, tend to show the more smothering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's
I'm very smothering towards my cat. Very
uh,
protective.
can you really smother the fur babies? That no judgments there.
Yeah,
That's
he's right
for sure.
there sleeping. He's
Yeah.
right sleeping.
So,
Yeah.
so that's where somatic face therapy came from for myself. I've just pre-launched it, and it's not about reversing aging. That's the side effect of it, but I no longer look like my family that I was born into. The I have some similarities, but I don't look like how I used to, and that's from
Mhm.
that process of working in the myofascial tissue, doing the corrections,
Yeah,
working on myself at that deep psychosomatic level.
because
Um,
if you eliminate the stress and the tension and the blocked energy, then things are moving better as opposed to being stuck like that and
right?
face falling and it's
Well, it's the patterns. It's the
mm,
patterns of that. So you can give. So my thing is always body first. I often say body mind then business, or get in your body, because when we technique our way, and this used to be me. It's like I'm always studying, researching, learning something new, taking a course on
yeah.
something, and many people are like that. But if you only learn it from the book perspective, you don't embody it. So
Mhm.
you have to be able to have that body piece to it, so that that's where the shift is. So the yamana body rolling is actually yamana is a real person, and I found her actually through one of my students. Now her work comes from deep therapy, body logics, but she uses a system of balls that you use your own body weight,
Mhm.
breath, and you roll from the origin of the muscle to the insertion. And I learned this system to teach my students because I always would teach in a retreat environment. So this would open us up and release. It's pure, I call it pure emotional release on a ball. Don't have to go into the story. And it was transformative. I did public workshops just to get good at teaching it in my retreats. And I was seeing complete transformations in people's personalities, how they held
So
their
how big
body.
are the balls?
Pardon me?
How big are the balls?
They're very, they're this size. They're different densities. They're kind of like the texture of your skin. They warm to you. They're specially made for yamana. There's
Oh,
the
okay.
gold ball is one size, but they're all used for different purposes of the body.
Mm.
So everyone's generally we start with the larger one because people are it has to do with the larger muscle groups, so you can soften up the larger muscle groups, and then we go into it. But using that, but also because I was in the beauty industry, I did already understand a lot about how this the face worked, and how when we as we aged, it a lot of the shape in the face, like the double chin and all of this, if you sent new energy or oxygenated blood there, it would pump it up, like your lips and along your jawline and your throat and the musculature and the myofascial, the fascial tissue that's in through here. The platysma is that's one that is so amazing to me. This one thing, if I taught you nothing else, this will change your life, because from the use of this action here, and I started seeing this a decade ago with young people. How come they were so heavy? How come they had second and third chins? Because this action elongates the flesh through here. So when you
Okay.
lean
And then
over,
it
yeah,
leans back. Yeah.
we don't like that. But also the computer, because when you're reaching forward here, is like, so coming into alignment
Oh, that's
here,
interesting. Yeah.
because what's going on here also has another effect that's going on back here.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a longer discussion, but I take it right from the place of where your feet are when you walk, when you stand, to all the way up the body to here. So if nothing else, you have your chin in an angle that's actually somewhat tucked. Then it will, over time, it will release that elongation through here. And there's more to it, but if you just stop doing that action, and here's also what happens is when we're talking, we go into the library, and I see it. I interview people too when they're talking, and I catch myself still too after all these years. When people are talking, they go up there. So
Yeah.
they don't realize because they're thinking. You're accessing or the girl cave, for example. So make that eye connection and keep your chin here so
Mm.
that you can create the actually it's a smoothing out of what's happening in the back, because this action also creates that dowager's hump. So
Wow. That's
anyway,
good. It's good to know. That's very interesting because these are a lot of unconscious behaviors,
it absolutely is.
right? Like you don't think about it. Like I know personally, when I catch myself, I'm often like that, right? Looking at a computer. So now I'm forcing myself to sit straight, but sit against the back or put a little cushion. So I'm not slouching, but not to go like that. If I have to, I have a screen on movable. So move the screen forward if you need to see better. And I'm really reprogramming my brain for that because I know it does create a lot of tension there, but I never thought about extending that. And,
well
I
the
don't have a big double chin,
well
so I guess I've
there-
been doing okay.
yeah,
But
the platysma, which is, if you think of a knight in shining armor and they have that neck plate, that's what the platysma looks like. And it attaches at the top of the pectoral muscles through here and up into the face and the bottom, the lips, and into the optic nerve. So the more you do this, the more it pulls down and it drags down, and that's how we end up with downturned. So releasing the face, when there's a lot of things that we can do there, but just not doing that action
yeah,
will
yeah.
stop that. But the
Well, a
more
few weeks back, I had Mary Rain, which yoga face yoga therapist,
oh
and so she's amazing. Like again, same thought pattern, right? Like bringing all the how to straighten your face and how to relax your face and different hand massage that you could do also, but also like she showed like where the muscles are and how to strengthen those muscles to have nice, plummy cheek, to bring that up, to straighten your face as opposed to always be like that and not working your muscles, right?
consciousness again
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
being conscious of it.
Hmm.
That's, as human beings, those habits that we form become how we look, how
Mm.
we are. It's our personality. It's about what triggers us. If we're in pain, we often don't even realize that pain has been coming in for some time, and it becomes that pattern that even to switch out of it, we'll be more comfortable in the discomfort or pain than the willingness to change that
Mm.
pattern.
Of course, of course.
So, yeah. Mhm.
Well, that's amazing. We could talk for hours, but we already been talking almost for 45 minutes. I know time flies. So I know you have a gift for our listeners. So what do we have?
Well, just, in celebration of somatic face therapy, just about ready to launch on its platform, I'll do a mini call with anyone that clicks the link, and I'll tell them the prominent feature on their face and how that is connected to their soul's purpose. Because my belief and my experience has been that what's going on here um, has, you've perfectly chosen the life that you've been born into,
Mm.
and we're all here to discover what our soul's purpose is, and
Yeah,
you'll do that through understanding how you've come to be in the shape you're in. So
that's amazing.
mhm.
So thank you. So I'll put that information in the chat so people can refer to that.
Mhm.
And so thank you so much for being here today. I mean, the more I talk with you, the more I love what I hear, the more I want to get to know you, because everything you do is so selfless. You want to help people, you want to help humanity with your lifestyle and with your clients and the way you live your own life, but it reflect with the environment and the people around you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being my guest.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me, Denise.
So stay there. I'll be right back. So thank you so much for listening today. It was a pleasure to be here with you. And I invite you again, as I mentioned earlier, like this video, comment, maybe do hashtag replay if you watch this on a replay. If you're watching this on YouTube, and if you watch all the way to the end, thank you. Subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified for the next videos that are going to be loaded there. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And come back and see me next week, same time. I'm being live on Monday, specific time on my channel, Facebook channel, at for the lookers here. It's all good. Lookers here for a chat. So have a wonderful week. Take care.